The final bombardment of Earth flickered across the view screens as Captain Kim watched helplessly from the bridge of the Defiance. Humanity's first contact with the Keltharian Empire had ended in tragedy. The aliens had come without warning and ignored all attempts at communication. Their weapons were beyond anything humans had developed. Now Earth burned below them. "Jump drives charged, Captain," Lieutenant Park reported, her voice steady despite the tears streaming down her face. "All remaining vessels accounted for," added Commander Lee, pointing to the fleet status display. 17 ships, carrying just over 50,000 survivors. Captain Kim nodded grimly. "Activate the experimental wormhole. May our children remember what happened here." The Ractig human fleet vanished into untested space, leaving behind their homeworld and billions of their kind. The wormhole technology was experimental, designed for exploration, not escape. But they had no choice. When they emerged, they found themselves in an unknown region beyond any charted space. The stars were unfamiliar. They were truly alone. "Where are we?" asked Commander Lee, staring at the navigation displays that showed nothing but question marks. "Far enough, I hope," Captain Kim replied. They discovered a habitable planet within a month. It had clean water, breathable air, and land that could support Earth crops. They named it Sanctuary. The first years were hard. The fleet wasn't designed for colonization. Food was scarce. Diseases they weren't prepared for took many lives. But humans were survivors. By the 5th year, they had built their first city. By the 10th, they had factories producing necessary equipment. By the 20th, children born on Sanctuary outnumbered those who remembered Earth. Captain Kim, now Admiral Kim, established the Reclamation Council. Their mission was clear: rebuild, remember, and one day return. Every child born on Sanctuary learned Earth's history and the story of the Keltharian attack. Every student trained in both civilian and military skills. "We will not live in fear," Admiral Kim told the first graduating class of the Fleet Academy. "But we will never be unprepared again." As decades passed, humanity focused its technology on defense, stealth, and weapons. Their ships became faster and stronger. Their sensors could detect threats from further away. Their weapons could punch through shields that would have stopped Earth's most powerful missiles. On the 50th anniversary of the exile, Admiral Jun, grandson of Admiral Kim, made a discovery that changed everything. While exploring Sanctuary's small moon, his team found ruins of an ancient alien outpost. The civilization that built it had vanished long ago, but they had left behind their knowledge. "This technology is unlike anything we've ever seen," Admiral Jun reported to the Council. "It could be the key to our return." The ruins contained information about phase shifting, a method that could make ships partially exist outside normal space. Such vessels would be nearly invisible to sensors and extremely difficult to damage. "We could slip past any Keltharian defense," Admiral Jun explained. "We could go home." But returning to Earth wasn't just about having the technology. The humans of Sanctuary needed to know what they would face. Small stealth ships were sent to the edges of known space to gather information. They discovered that the galaxy had changed in their absence. The Keltharian Empire had grown unstable. Internal conflicts had weakened them. Their territory had shrunk as subjected species rebelled on the outer systems. They still controlled Earth's solar system, turning it into a museum of their victory over humanity. 300 years after the exile, Commander Wan, a great-granddaughter of the original fleet officers, stood before the Reclamation Council with a bold proposal. "We are ready," she said. "Our phase shift technology has been perfected. Our ships are stronger than anything the Keltharians have. Most importantly, they believe we are extinct. They won't be prepared for our return." The council chambers fell silent. For generations, this moment had been their dream. Now it was within reach. Admiral Moon, the council leader, stood up. "Our ancestors made a promise. They would not live to see Earth again, but their children would return. We are those children." The time has come to fulfill that promise. The vote was unanimous. Operation Homecoming would begin. The first fleets would depart in secret, establishing forward bases in abandoned star systems. They would make contact with species who opposed the Keltharians. They would gather allies. And then, humanity would return to the stars that had once been their home. Commander Juan looked out at the massive ships being prepared in Sanctuary's orbit. 300 years of preparation were about to be put to the test. The galaxy thought humanity was gone forever. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The stealth vessel Shadow slipped through the busy trade lanes of the Orion cluster, its phase shift technology, making it invisible to all scanning systems. Pilot Sue guided the ship with careful precision, avoiding the paths of merchant vessels and patrol cruisers. Another Keltharian battleship, she noted as the massive warship passed within kilometers of their position. That's the third one today. Commander Sun nodded, studying the sensor readings. They're increasing patrols in this sector. They must be having problems with the local species. For 6 months, human reconnaissance ships had been gathering intelligence throughout known space. What they discovered surprised them. The once mighty Keltharian Empire had fractured into competing factions. Civil wars had weakened their grip on many worlds. Several species under their control had begun to resist. It's the perfect time for us to return, Sun had reported to Fleet Command. They're fighting amongst themselves. They won't be ready for an external threat. The Shadow's mission today was different. After months of observation, humanity had identified potential allies. The Vexari were a peaceful species who had suffered greatly under Keltharian rule. Their homeworld had been stripped of resources, their people forced to work in mines and factories. Approaching the meeting coordinates, Pilot Sue announced, "Sensors detect a small vessel waiting. It matches the Vexari designs we've observed." Sun took a deep breath. This would be humanity's first diplomatic contact with an alien species since the destruction of Earth. Everything depended on making the right impression. "Take us out of phase," he ordered. "Let's show ourselves." The Shadow rippled into visibility. The Vexari ship jerked back in apparent surprise, but didn't flee. "They're sending a transmission," Communications Officer Gill reported. The view screen activated, showing a Vexari face. Their skin was blue-gray, with large golden eyes that blinked nervously. "We received your message," the Vexari said in the Galactic Standard language. "You claim to be humans. Humans are extinct." Ambassador Munn stepped forward. She had been chosen for this mission because of her calm nature and diplomatic skills. "We survived," she said simply. "We hid. We rebuilt. Now we have returned." The meeting lasted hours. The Vexari representative, named Tellin, was initially suspicious. How could humans have survived? Where had they been hiding? Why return now? Munn explained carefully, sharing only what was necessary. A refugee fleet. A distant planet. 300 years of preparation. "We have developed technology that could free your people from Keltharian control," she explained. "We seek allies who desire freedom." Tellin's large eyes widened. "What you suggest is dangerous. The Keltharians punish rebellion harshly. They can't punish what they can't see," Commander Sun said, gesturing around the ship. "Our phase shift technology makes us virtually undetectable." To prove his point, he ordered a demonstration. The Shadow phased out partially, becoming ghostly and transparent. Tellin gasped. "The Keltharians have no defense against this." "None that we've detected," Sun confirmed. By the end of the meeting, a tentative alliance had been formed. The Vexari would provide information about Keltharian movements and defenses. In return, humans would help protect Vexari ships from Keltharian harassment. News of the alliance spread quietly through the oppressed species. The Tellarites, with their advanced manufacturing capabilities, joined next. Then the Narai, whose mathematical skills had made them valuable slaves to the Keltharians for generations. Each new ally brought valuable resources and information. Most importantly, they brought knowledge of the current galactic situation that humans couldn't gather on their own. One piece of information shocked everyone aboard the diplomatic vessel Guardian. The Vexari Council member Jun delivered it personally. "We've confirmed reports that there are humans still alive in Keltharian space," Jun said. Ambassador Mund froze. "That's impossible. Earth was destroyed. The survivors came with us." Jun shook his head. "The Keltharians took prisoners during their attack. Thousands of humans were placed in cryostasis facilities. They're kept as research subjects and museum exhibits." The news spread through the human fleet like wildfire. Their mission had always been to reclaim their place in the galaxy and ensure Keltharian aggression could never threaten them again. Now they had a new purpose: rescue their lost people. Commander Tak, leading the Special Operations Ship Phantom, proposed the first rescue mission. "We can infiltrate the facility on Keltharian Station 6. Our intelligence suggests it holds at least 500 humans in stasis." Admiral Du reviewed the plan carefully. "This will reveal our presence sooner than we planned. The Keltharians will know something is happening." Tak nodded. "Yes, but they won't know what. They'll suspect rival factions or rebellious species. They won't imagine that humans have returned." The mission was approved. As the Phantom prepared to depart, Commander Tak addressed his team. "Today, we begin taking back what is ours. Not just territory or revenge, but our own people. The Keltharians think they conquered humanity. We're about to show them how wrong they were." The Keltharian communications relay exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Captain Du watched from the bridge of the stealth ship Whisper as the massive structure collapsed into itself. Within minutes, nothing remained but floating debris. "Target neutralized," his tactical officer reported. "No witnesses, no distress signal sent." "Good," Du nodded with satisfaction. "Take us out of the system. Standard exit pattern." The Whisper disappeared into the darkness of space, its phase-shift engines leaving no trace of its presence. This was the 12th successful strike in what Human Command called Operation Ghost. For 3 months, human special forces had been attacking Keltharian military installations throughout their territory. Communications relays, sensor arrays, weapons platforms, anything that could detect or respond to a larger invasion was systematically eliminated. The beauty of the operation was that the Keltharians had no idea who was attacking them. Most blamed rival factions within their own fractured empire. Some suspected rebellious subject species. None imagined that humans, extinct for 3 centuries, could be responsible. In a secured meeting room on the command ship Justice, Admiral Han reviewed the latest operation reports. Keltharian military communications are down by 30% in the Orion sector, she noted. Their patrol ships are chasing shadows. They've even started firing on each other in some cases. Commander Jin nodded. "The confusion is working in our favor, but our latest intelligence suggests they're beginning to suspect an outside force." "Let them suspect," Admiral Han replied. "By the time they figure it out, we'll be ready for open warfare." The next phase of the Shadow War began with the most daring mission yet. Intelligence from their Vexari allies revealed the existence of a Keltharian prison world called Tartarus. Thousands of humans captured during the fall of Earth were kept there in cryostasis, living museum pieces and research subjects. Commander Min led the rescue team. The prison facility was heavily guarded, but the human ships slipped past defenses using their phase shift technology. Guards were quickly neutralized with stun weapons. Within hours, they had control of the cryostasis chambers. Min stood before the first pod to be activated. The system indicated it contained a woman named Jisoo, captured at age 63 during the final days of Earth. Slowly, the pod warmed, and its occupant began to stir. Jisoo's eyes opened. They were cloudy at first, then focused on Min's face. Recognition dawned slowly. Another human, wearing a uniform she didn't recognize. "Am I dead?" she whispered. Min shook her head. "No, you're free. We've come to take you home." "Home?" Jisoo's voice cracked. "Earth is gone. We have a new home," Min replied gently. "And soon, We'll have our revenge. Over the next weeks, more prison facilities were liberated. Each rescue brought more survivors from Earth back to the human fleet. Their stories strengthened the resolve of those born on Sanctuary. The war was no longer just about reclaiming their place in the galaxy. It was about justice for specific crimes against specific people. The Keltharians grew increasingly desperate. Their installations continued to be destroyed by an enemy they couldn't see or track. Their prison facilities were being emptied by unknown forces. Reports of ghost ships flooded their communication channels. The Keltharian High Command finally issued an empire-wide alert. All military forces were ordered to fire on any unidentified vessel, regardless of markings or claimed identity. The order led to several friendly fire incidents, further weakening their already fractured military. The Shadow War culminated at Proxima Station, a major Keltharian military hub. Fleet Commander Hyun led a battle group of 30 human warships in the first open attack of the conflict. All ships, disengage phase shift, Hyun ordered. Let them see us coming. The human fleet materialized seemingly out of nowhere, surrounding the station. Keltharian commanders scrambled to respond, but their ships were scattered and unprepared. Open a channel, Hyun commanded. All frequencies, all languages. The communications officer complied. Channel open, Commander. Hyun stood straight, her eyes fixed on the main view screen showing the Keltharian station. This is Fleet Commander Hyun of the Human Reclamation Force. 300 years ago, you destroyed our homeworld and declared our species extinct. You were wrong. We survived. We rebuilt, and now we have returned. She paused, letting her words sink in. To demonstrate our resolve, we will now destroy this station. You have 10 minutes to evacuate your personnel. The Keltharian commander's response came quickly. His voice was shaking. This is impossible. Humans are extinct. Look again, Hyun replied coldly. Exactly 10 minutes later, the human fleet opened fire. Advanced weaponry tore through the station's defenses as if they were paper. The entire structure collapsed in less than 5 minutes. As the human ships prepared to depart, Hyun sent one final message on all frequencies. The Shadow War is over. The real war begins now. Remember us. Throughout Keltharian space, the message was received with disbelief and fear. The impossible had happened. Humanity had returned, and they wanted blood. The massive dreadnought Resurrection dropped out of phase space above the Keltharian fortress world of Kelthos. Behind it came 50 more human warships, their weapons already charged and targeting systems locked on the orbital defenses below. Admiral Jin stood on the command deck, her face calm as she studied the tactical displays. 300 years of preparation had led to this moment. The Shadow War was over. Now humanity would show its true strength. All ships in position, reported Tactical Officer Yu. Keltharian defense grid is activating, but slowly. They weren't expecting us. Deploy the Lazarus ships to the front, Jin ordered. These were humanity's newest weapon, vessels with revolutionary self-repair systems that could reconstruct themselves after apparent destruction. Keltharian transmission coming in, Communications Officer Yun announced. The main screen flickered to life, showing a Keltharian military commander. His scaled face showed a mixture of shock and rage. Unidentified fleet, you have entered restricted Keltharian space. Identify yourselves immediately or be destroyed. Admiral Jin stepped forward. I am Admiral Jin of the Human Reclamation Fleet. We require no permission to reclaim what is ours. The Keltharian's eyes widened. Humans? Impossible. Your empire made a mistake 3 centuries ago, Jin replied coldly. You didn't finish the job. We're here to return the favor. The Keltharian reached for something off-screen, likely an alarm. Jin nodded to Yun, who cut the transmission. They're powering weapons, Yu reported. Let them fire first, Jin ordered. I want the galaxy to see who started this battle.